Okay guys, I'm going to try to give you a quick run through on the lab that we're going to do today. I'm going to need you to pay close attention because I'm going to give you a lot of little pointers and tips, and I'm going to want you to incorporate those into the lab that you are doing today. So first things first, you're going to have 4 different chemicals that you are going to be analyzing. Now you will not know what these chemicals are, okay, but you're going to analyze their physical and their chemical properties to determine determine things that are specific about each chemical. Okay, so you have chemical 1 here in this fancy plastic cup. Now, when you are handling chemical 1, you got these really nice plastic scupulas that I made here. Okay, this is high class here. One little tip to know: you're going to be scooping a pea-sized amount. That would be PEA. P. Okay, all right. All right. Think about that one for a minute. When you take a small amount, one thing to remember is that this was originally, I know it's going to be hard to, for you to believe this was originally a straw. So if you're not careful, it will simply fall out the back. Okay? And so please be careful with it whenever you're loading it into the test tube. With each chemical, you need to make sure that you're using the scoop that goes with that one so you're not cross-contaminating it. Now, one thing that I have already violated, you may know what I have violated with this lab: goggles. Everyone is going to wear these lovely neon goggles. Now, do I look good? Yes, but you probably will not. Everybody is going to wear these lovely goggles. This does not mean that you're going to see like this, because we do not need to protect your Adam's apple. I do not want to see them on the top of your head, because then you just look like a doofus anyways. And so make sure that they are on your face. I'll just tell you, when you go to college and you have a chemistry class and you decide that, hey, I'm not going to wear my goggles in the middle of a lab, there's a good chance that your lab professor will simply tell you to go home and take your name off the roll. Okay? So in here, got to wear your goggles or you'll fail the lab. Now, other than wearing your goggles, the second most important thing is to follow the procedure. Okay? Please, please, please follow the procedure. And so when you read through your procedure chart, please pay attention to it. Now, I'm going to give you a couple of pointers so this lab will go well. You need to check to make sure your test tubes are clean. If they are not clean, then you are going to rinse them out. I want you to think of the sink as only for cleaning right now. Okay, we're only going to use the water of the sink for cleaning. Now, if you remember, these sinks are a little high-powered, and so you have to barely turn the water on. As a matter of fact, I'm fine with you kind of leaving the water on if you need to, and you'll rinse the test tube out. You have to be very careful though, because if you turn these things on full blast, I hope I just didn't get my computer wet there. If you turn them on full blast, it could knock the test tube out of your hand. Got these lovely little tiny little brushes, look like they're from the world's smallest little toilet, that you're going to use to clean out the test tubes, okay, and then rinse it again. Now, a few things to know. Let's see. Now, I told you that the sink is for cleaning your test tubes. This bottle here is for adding water to the test tube. I had somebody actually take the lid off, and they were pouring water, and I'm like, what do you think this was, like a handle? Take this, add it, and squeeze, and water comes out. It's like magic, but it's not. Next thing, if your procedure tells you to put 1 milliliter of water, that is roughly just filling up the bottom, curved area here, okay, making it flat. That's roughly 1 milliliter. If it tells you to put 5 milliliters, that's roughly, I'd say, about 3/4 of an inch or so. An inch, it doesn't matter. It's only roundabout, so it doesn't have to be exact. When it calls for your acetic acid, okay, I even labeled these beakers. Acetic acid. Acetic acid is a very, very dangerous substance. It can burn you horribly. Okay, it's vinegar, so pickles. So, use the pipette for the acetic acid. Don't pour the acetic acid, because I don't want you to spill vinegar all over my lab. Let's see, other things for you to know. There are 2 other chemicals that you're going to use. One is an indicator called phenolphthalein. Now, I only have one bottle of phenolphthalein, and so we're going to have to basically pass that bottle around to make sure that everybody can use it. Only use a couple of drops of it, like 2 drops is really all you need. We're also going to be using something called tincture of iodine. Okay, can stain your clothes. You want to be very careful with it. I have 2 bottles of it and 2 pipettes that I only want to be used with that tincture of iodine. And so those are the chemicals you're going to be using. One other thing, when you're doing stuff like solubility, it's going to ask you to put a pea-sized amount of the solid in there. It's going to ask you to put a couple of milliliters of water. And then it's going to say in your lab sheet for you to invert it, for you to put a cap on it and invert it. Oh, I see somebody has already chipped one of my test tubes. Somebody's going to die. So I do not want you to put the cap on it. You have one cap that you can use for all your test tubes. I do not want to see you doing this. Okay? That is not how you're going to mix in this class. You're going to take it in your hand. You're going to hold it between your two fingers and thumb, and you are going to either hit it against your hand, or you're going to hit it against the palm of your other hand. Now, give it a minute while you're actually doing this. It's not going to dissolve immediately. Okay? Now, when it comes to your actual lab sheet, be as detailed as possible. If you did not write it down, then it did not happen. So you got to make sure that you write down everything that you observe, and be detailed in that, because you're going to use that information next class to solve a crime using forensic evidence. Now, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I need to tell you. Here's one last thing, at least like with my little chipped glass here. Don't goof around. Okay, you need to not be dead weight in the group. Everybody needs to participate. Everybody needs to be working. If there's don't be the dictator of the group that only does all the experiments. But I do not want to see you goofing around. If you break something in the class, please tell me. Okay, if it was just an accident, then that is just fine. Okay, I'm fine with accidents. If you break something because you were being dumb, then I'm going to charge you for whatever you broke. You break one of my lovely test tubes, I will send you a bill for $6, and you will not get your diploma until I get my $6 for my test tube. But if it's just something where it slips, it falls, it happens, it's okay. I have more. Other than that, make sure you follow your procedures, make sure you make good observations, make sure that you follow all the things that I tell you here, and I will say this, work quickly today. We want to get through all of our different labs. And so, with that said, good luck. I'll reach in to turn off the video.